It is a symbol of strength. It is a symbol of faith. The cross, that old Maltese cross, reminds those who wear it that all is never lost. We remember those who have gone before us.
Good morning. Out there that has a cell phone, if you could turn your phones off, please, just for a hour. Ceremony. We're going to have the Lawrence Fire Department, the Lawrence Police Department, color guard, and the uniform men from the fire department, and EMS from the Lawrence General Hospital.
Detail, up, forward, march. Detail, mark times, mark. Detail, up, left, face, ready.
Now I'd like to have the Lawrence Fire Department and Lawrence Police Department present the colors.
Color. Detail, present, arm.
Left, right, forward, halt.
Order, arm. Ready.
September 11th, on this day 18 years ago, 246 people went to sleep in preparation for their morning flights. 2,606 people went to sleep in preparation for work the next morning. 343 firefighters went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. 60 police officers went to sleep in preparation for their morning patrol. 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for a shift of saving lives. None of these brave souls saw past 10 a.m. the next day, September 11, 2001. In one single moment, life may never be the same. As you go about and live and enjoy every breath you take today, tonight before you go to sleep, in preparation for your day and life tomorrow, kiss the ones you love, snuggle them a little tighter, and never for 1 second take any moment of life for granted. And please, remember those and the families of those who died of 9/11 related illnesses and trauma. On behalf of the Lawrence Fire Department, I would like to welcome you to the 18th anniversary ceremony for the 9/11 tragedy. I would like to start this year's ceremony.
Detail, up.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets flags bursting, the bombs bursting gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Detail.
Great job, girls and boys, great job.
Ready.
Now I'd like to ask Father Paul O'Brien from St. Patrick's Church to come up and give a blessing and a small talk. Father?
Small talk is, I know one thing that we all have in common, which is on September 11th, 2018, all of us who were here, none of us knew that on September 13th, this neighborhood would blow up. So I remember we were here and we were thinking about the heroism of first responders. None of us knew that you guys would be called to be first responders in such a powerful way 2 days later. When I look at a mural like this, even though I know this was horrible, September 13th here last year told me firsthand for the first time, disaster is horrible. There's nothing glamorous, there's nothing fun, there's nothing that makes you feel good. It's just horrible. To be a first responder, to really step up, is not to be taken for granted. You have a uniform, one uniform or another, and you think, well, I'll do it. It takes an awful lot. So one memory I have last year, on like the second or third day of the disaster, there was a firefighter whom I don't know, who was doing one of these, you know, when you guys said to come over and over to every building and check it out and check it out and check it out. It was like the 14th round of checking it out. And this guy was wearing all of his equipment and he was absolutely exhausted. I don't know the guy, but he's between the American flag and the Massachusetts flag holding that axe. You were completely exhausted and you had all of the equipment on. And I don't know you, but I thought this guy could fall asleep or die right here. And the whole group stopped and then you had to get up and just cross the parking lot behind my church. I don't think you had any human energy to even cross that parking lot, but I saw you did it. Somehow you mustered not the physical strength, but the human strength just to walk across the parking lot. That's what a heroic first responder does. Walk across a parking lot when you don't have the energy. So I invite you to consider today, given this, and given what we went through a year ago, to pray for strength and to pray for the belief that we should love one another.
Thank you, Father. The ringing of the bell. The ceremonial ringing of the bell is in memory of those who died in the line of duty. It's an age-old tradition of the fire service that dates back over 150 years. The tradition reflects respect and honor to those who gave their lives to their duty. A distinctive bell ringing marks the end of an emergency and a return to quarters, and in memory to all those who died during the attacks on September 11, 2001. The bell is rung 5 times in a series of 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Multiplied out, this equals 3,125, a number very close to the number of people who died as a result of the attacks. America will never forget. I'm going to have Lieutenant ring the bell. And that was Lieutenant Corey Scott. Thank you, Corey. Now I'd like to have everybody just take a deep breath. We're going to have 1 minute of silence. Thank you. Now, the Lawrence High School Ensemble is going to sing the Irish Blessing.
May the Lord rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet, my friends again. May God hold you in the palm of His hand. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. Till we meet again, we meet again. May God hold you in His hand.
Nicely done, girls and boys. Nicely done. Okay, now I'd like to move on. I'd like to ask Captain Eric Zahn from the local 146 to come up and say a few words. Cap Zahn.
Good morning, and thank everybody for coming out today. So we all remember where we were 18 years ago, this very morning. On a professional level, I was here at work at the firehouse, and we were doing an inspection of a new business up in the industrial park, and everybody's cell phone started ringing. Something was afoot. So somebody got wind that one of the towers had been hit by an airplane. Like everybody thought maybe it was a mistake. We all went back to the firehouse to try to figure out what was going on, and when we got there, the other tower had already been hit, and shortly after, the first tower fell. When that tower fell, we knew thousands of lives were changed immediately. On a personal level, my brother Stephen, he worked in New York, and 2 days a week, he used to have meetings in the Twin Towers. And everybody's cell phone service lost that day, so it was a hard time for my mom to get a hold of him, for us to figure out what was going on. But at the end of the day, we found that he was safe across in his office, across the East River, and he watched that tragic event unfold right from his office. What was born from that horrific event was the slogan, "Never forget." Never forget the sacrifices made by those first responders who went to that building. What I like to never forget is the way the country, the community, neighborhoods came together after that event. Everybody's a little bit nicer to each other. Everybody's willing to lend a helping hand. Everybody was just willing to, just help out and just try to be genuinely nicer. There was a spirit of patriotism and Americanism that was palpable throughout every neighborhood throughout the country. What was also born from that was an appreciation for those who did respond to this event. Appreciation for firefighters. Appreciation for EMTs. Appreciation for the police department. Appreciation for the military. Appreciation for the nurses and doctors who treated all the injured that day. Appreciation for the government who committed to hold the people responsible for that cruel act and did eventually held them accountable. And that's what I just like to remember from those days. 18 years goes by pretty quick. We've got to try to hold on to those feelings. Never forget and appreciate everything that everybody sacrificed that day. On my closing note, I just want to take a chance, and he's going to kill me for doing this, but Lieutenant Flynn, if you read in the paper, this is going to be his last time hosting this event. After 35 years of dedicated service to the Lawrence Fire Department, he's going to be retiring. And to tell you what kind of guy he is, committed to his calling, his job. In days following the towers coming down, Lieutenant Flynn, a handful of other guys, jumped in their cars, grabbed their gear, they went to Ground Zero to do anything they could to help out their brothers in need, help out families down there, whatever they could do. They spent a number of days on there, and they continue going back, and that's just the kind of guy Lieutenant Flynn is around here. He cares about the job, he he answers a true calling to the fire service. And I just wanted to give Lieutenant Flynn a round of applause and say thank you for all he does for this.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask Chief Moriarty from the Lawrence Fire Department to come up and say a few words. Chief?
Good morning. Thank you, Flinny. You will be missed, but you'll be around, we know. I'd like to thank you all for coming today for this solemn day. See police, fire, EMS, and civilians all together. We all represent different parts that were lost that day. And this week is becoming a very busy week of remembrances for the city. Sad, all of them. I'd like to honor this day by reading a poem by Roger J. Robichaud of Holbrook, Mass. It's titled The 11th of September. We mourn their loss this day, this year, those now with God, no danger near. So many loved ones left to stand, confronting loss throughout our land. My heart goes out to those who do. No one can fathom what they view. I firmly pray for peace of mind. Dear God, please help each one to find. And to our soldiers now at war, God guide above, at sea, on shore. They are the best, I have no doubt, our country's pride, complete, devout. The finest force you'll ever see, all freedom grown through liberty. One final thought comes clear to me, for what must live in infamy, absolutely will remember the 11th of September. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for coming. Flinny is an honorable man. We went to the academy together. One of the best. Eric said it right. We're all going to miss him. Choir, thank you for coming. You sound like voices of angels. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Now I'd like to call up Mayor Dan Rivera.
Good morning. I was thinking about today and what I would say in I think this is the 6th time I got a chance to come up here and talk at this event, and I thought it feels like I'd be repeating myself, and that I would be telling the same story over and over again. My story is very plain and unexciting. I didn't do what Flinny did, get in a car and go and help downtown. I was the manager of a housing project, and I sat with one of my tenants and watched it all unfold, and then went back to my office and feel absolutely useless and absolutely unable to help in any way. And being a veteran of the military, it felt really weird to be able to have to do that. But that's the funny thing about remembering, that it's a thing that today, 18 years later, feel that we've been talking about it for 18 years. It feels a little bit ordinary. It'd be ordinary that Flinny would put this together every year and get us out here and get us to remember and we used to feel ordinary that we line up together and hear the voices of the choir and the color guard and see this beautiful, beautiful mural. I think every year on the year, the Tribune runs a picture of this. But was it not something that was extraordinary? And on September 12th of that year, I'm not sure we ever thought we'd see 18 years later. How would we ever get out from underneath all that rubble? How would we ever find the people that did this? And that's the funny thing about remembering. That it does make you think about that day in a way that you don't think about it every other day. And the chief said it, we're going to be thinking about our disaster here a year away from when it happened. And again, it's a thing that today seems like it happened a year ago. And the dates become very important. December 7th, the bombing of Pearl Harbor. The day John F. Kennedy was shot. The dates become very important, even though, again, they become very ordinary. And I just wanted to share that with you because as we think about remembering and we will never forget, it's not so much that we will forget this thing that becomes kind of like rote and part of the ceremony. Of course, everybody's going to do something on September 11th. Is that we're remembering the boring aspects of that day, the things that we didn't think were going to be important. So that's what the day feels like to me today. That it reinvigorates this idea of remembrance and thanks, and as Captain Zahn said, appreciation. I want to thank the elected officials that are here with us today. Representative Frank Moran is here with us. Thank you for joining us. Representative Marcos Devers as well. I know there's the men and women, the command staff of the police department, and other departments here in the city, here to support all of us today. It's a blessed thing to be able to be here 18 years later, because many folks didn't get a chance to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now I'd like to ask retired Captain Leo Booton, he's my keynote speaker today. Captain Booton, as they said, I'm retiring, unfortunately. But Captain Booton was one of my mentors when I got on, never yelled at me even though I made so many mistakes. He brought me up through the ranks to learn how to deal with people and respect people. So when I was thinking about who I needed, because every year I think about who can I get up here that's gonna be able to kind of relate to everyone, fire service, the community, veterans. I had Norm Jones a couple of years ago, it was awesome. Then I had John, the paramedic, Johnny Lovett, excellent. And now I'd just like to introduce retired Captain Leo Booton from Engine 5, Lawrence Fire Department. Cap.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I've been here before. What I'd like to say is, for the people who are alive and Americans would remember minute by minute what happened. Still fresh in the memories of many Americans, 18 years ago, September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 people from New York, Virginia, and Pennsylvania lost their lives after terrorists orchestrated by Osama bin Laden hijacked airlines as weapons. As years pass, suffering continues. 343 firefighters lost their lives also. Now the site of the New York City attacks is the home of One World Trade Center, the largest building in the Western Hemisphere and a marker of resilience in the face of tragedy. Now I compare this to the other tragedies, one of the tragedies that we had in this country, November 1963, when our 34th President, John F. Kennedy, was shot in Dallas, Texas. Very similar to me. And I also would like to say that the raising of the flag by the firefighters after they got some headway into the situation that took place is similar to the raising of the flag Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima by 3 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman after we were able to conquer the Japanese in that battle. Anybody who's alive and can remember, I think they would kind of agree with me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cap. Now, I'd like the Lawrence High School Ensemble. They're going to sing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. America. Land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairie, to the oceans, wonderful. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The mural at Ladder 4 is our own little piece of history that was erected by a group of dedicated people who had a vision. This is important because many of the hundreds of murals that were created back then have been lost due to fires, buildings being demolished, graffiti, or, believe it or not, lack of interest. Our mural still stands strong in our great city. Now I would like to thank, because you gotta have the thank yous after you do this, because it just doesn't happen. First, I'd like to thank my brother firefighters from Local 146 and the retirees and Lawrence General Hospital, their EMS crew. I work with these guys, man. They are the best. My guys are the best, too. Father Paul O'Brien from St. Pat's. Every year, I'm looking for him right before it starts. And like I said, he'll just appear. And he appeared. Thank you, Father. The Lawrence Fire Department and the Police Department color guards. Thank you, guys. Nancy McGee and the Lawrence High Ensemble. Another round of applause for them. Relief Sin, Local 146's Relief Sin, for the tables and chairs, the bell, the podium, and a special thank you to Tommy Baggett, one of my guys on Engine 6, and Timmy Booton, and anybody, Mikey from the club that helped get the chairs here. Like I say, you gotta go there, and you gotta bring them here, and then you gotta go back, so don't forget. Captain Zahn for the coffee and donuts. Cap, you're the best. Jill Haminsky from the Tribune, she always does a bang-up article, really focuses on the mural, which is great. Rumbo's here, thank you for that. Lawrence Community Access Television, they put it on the air, it's nice to see. Buddy Electric, I don't know if Buddy's here, but Buddy owns this building. And when we went to do it, obviously the city doesn't own this. And I went and asked him. And he said, Jimmy, as long as I own the building, it can stay. So every year, he never says a word. So, buddy, if you're out there, if not, thank you. The Lawrence Fire Department electricians, they put all new LED lighting. You can land a plane on Broadway now with these lights. So thank you guys. Very important. I don't know if Kevin White's here, but he always takes pictures. I didn't want to forget him. Someone say he was here. Veterans Affairs, they show up. We try to make it to their stuff. They make it to ours. So everybody from Veteran Affairs, thanks. Frank Skuzevich sets up all this sound equipment for me. Every year he's here. They give a round of applause for Ski. We all know Ski in the 99. Ski just became a grandfather. Can you believe it? Beautiful. Now I know the mayor did acknowledge some of the dignitaries that are out there. So I'm just going to try to, all the dignitaries and the citizens of Lawrence who took time out of their day to make this a day of remembrance. Never forget. And I hope I didn't forget anyone. My sincere apologies if I did. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. That's it. Coffee and donuts, drinks in here, you can mingle. Thank you very much.
It is a symbol of strength. It is a symbol of faith. The cross, that old Maltese cross, reminds those who wear it that all is never lost. We remember those who have gone before us, who've answered their last alarm. Their courage and strength from the cross reminds those who wear it that all is never lost.